Hello and welcome back to the channel where today, after week 8 of NFL football, we're going to take a look at my tier list, power rankings, or whatever you want to call it, and rank the teams, put them into these following categories: the Super Bowl contenders, division winners, wildcard teams, teams that are just kind of bad, and tanking teams. So let's go ahead and get started with the Arizona Cardinals, who lost 31-24 against the Baltimore Ravens, and are now 1-7 on the year. They're tanking. They just benched Josh Dobbs. Now, does that mean that Kyler Murray is going to be getting some time here soon, or are they going to go with rookie Clayton Tune because they were wanting to tank for that number 1 pick? But either way, they're still one of the worst teams in football. The roster is not very good. I mean, they're still kind of competing. They only lost to 7 to Baltimore, who I think is one of the top 4 teams in the NFL right now. But they just could not get out of their own way there. So next up, we have the Atlanta Falcons, who lost to rookie Will Levis and the Tennessee Titans. Even though their record's 4-4, and I think they're technically a wild card team right now, I'm putting them in bad because Desmond Ridder continues to hurt this team. Every single week he hurts this team. It is insane how much held back they are by their quarterback situation. Because if they had a good quarterback, if they had a decent average starting quarterback, they would be probably like 5-2, 6-2 right now, potentially. Because they got everything else around them is good. It's just that quarterback has been terrible for them. For that reason alone, I'm putting them in bad because I just don't believe in this team at all. Next, we got Baltimore, who, even though they only won by 7 against the Cardinals, I still think this is a very, very strong team. The offense has been looking pretty solid in recent weeks, and they keep this up. They are definitely Super Bowl contenders. They definitely have the ability to win this division. And so, yeah, I have them in Super Bowl contender. Next up, we got the Buffalo Bills, who after beating the, who did they play? The Buccaneers on Thursday Night Football. They're now 5-3. They looked better than in previous weeks. I'm still pulling them in wild card tier because I just think I'm so concerned that the team of the past few weeks, other than the Thursday Night Football team, will show up. You never know when Josh Allen is going to randomly decide to throw 4 interceptions in the game, but they're still a very, very good team. And so they're still in wild card for now. Congratulations, Panthers. You got your first win of the year, beating the Houston Texans by about 2 points. And congratulations. You won your first game. You're no longer contention for going winless. And they started to look better these past few weeks. Bryce Young is starting to look a little more comfortable, and his offense is doing a little bit better, and their defense actually showed up against a pretty decent Texans squad. So, good for you, Carolina. Good for you. Next up is Chicago, who I am going to be dropping back down to tanking tier after that really bad performance against the Chargers. You guys did not look good. Tyson Bagent could not replicate the magic from last week, and you guys are still pretty bad. I still think you're in tanking tier. You're still wanting to be in tanking tier because you can have like 2 top 5 picks and build for the future. But yeah, disappointing week after the highs of the previous week as well. Next up, we got Cincinnati Bengals, who destroyed San Francisco. Absolutely destroyed them. We're seeing why that we all thought they could be a Super Bowl contender heading into the year. They're now 4-3. They're getting on the right track. The offense with Joe Burrow looks healthy. He's finally clicking again, and it's just very, very good to see this offense going. And so Cincinnati, you're moving up there. You're getting into wild card contention, and good for you. Next up, we got the Cleveland Browns, who I am dropping down to wild card tier again, behind Cincinnati because they did lose to Seattle. The defense still plays really, really, really well. This defense is elite. The problem is they have no production out of the quarterback position. It's obvious that P.J. Walker, while being a good backup, is not viable long-term for a contending team that wants to compete. And we all know Deshaun Watson is not a good quarterback. He's not. He's been hurt. He's been playing bad. And it's just that deal keeps looking worse and worse and worse for Cleveland because they're wasting talent on that defense. That is a championship caliber defense, and they are wasting it. So, yeah, not much else to say there for the Browns. You're still 4-3. I still think you can compete in games, but you need to get better quarterback play. There's nothing else about that. Next up, we have the Dallas Cowboys, who, even though they're second place in their division, I'm still putting them in division tier because they are that good. Especially that defense. Oh my gosh, they gave The Rams, hell on earth. Safety, defensive touchdown. They were pressuring Matthew Stafford all day. Only gave up 20 points, and they won like 42-20. And even, like I said, even though they are in second place in their division, they're still, I think, one of the best teams in football. They're not quite Super Bowl contenders yet, but they're getting pretty darn close. Let me just say that. Next up, we got the Denver Broncos, who are now going up from tanking tier to bad tier. And so, you guys finally beat the Chiefs. It's been like, what, 7-8 years since you done that? And you got a nice little win streak going on here. You played well against the Chiefs 2 weeks ago, only held them to 19 points but lost. You beat the Packers, and now you beat the Chiefs. You're now 3-5 and kind of look a little frisky here. I don't think you're going to finish last in your division anymore. But I still don't think you're a playoff team, but you're showing signs of improvement. Russ really has looked pretty good these past couple weeks. And so I think we're starting to see a little bit of a turnaround for Denver. I really, really do. So good on you guys. Next up, we've got Detroit. Who did he play? Who did Detroit play? Oh, the Raiders on Monday Night Football. That's right. I'm still putting you in division because you got off to a very, very, very slow start against a really bad team in the Raiders. But you guys are still a really good team. I'm still concerned after the drubbing you got against Baltimore and kind of getting off to a slow start against the Raiders that you are struggling a little bit, but you guys will be fine. You guys will be fine. You're still in division tier. I think you're definitely one of the top 2 teams in the NFC now, just to say that. So let's have you up there. Next up, we got the Green Bay Packers. They're one of the 5 worst teams in football. There is no doubt about it, and it's the same thing every single week. You saw my video yesterday about me going off on the Packers for last week's game. It's embarrassing. Coaching is going bad. Offensive execution is bad. Receivers keep dropping balls. Offensive linemen cannot block for the run. The run game was no help at all. The defense keeps giving up long, sustained drives and not taking away the ball and not generating a lot of pressure. It's just everything is going wrong for the Packers, and they don't have a top 5 pick. Easily have a top 5 pick, and so we'll see what they decide to do. So right now, Green Bay, you're still in tanking. Next up, we got the Houston Texans, who are going into bad tier. Really disappointing losing to the Panthers. That's the game you guys should have honestly won and be able to just rebound and get more contention in the wild card game, but. Yeah, no, I don't think it's quite there yet for you guys. You got a good foundation. You really do have a good foundation. I just don't think you're quite there yet, and you're still kind of a bad team. Also joining them in bad is the Indianapolis Colts. They lost to the Saints. They made the Saints offense look unstoppable, and that is never, ever a good thing because they've been pretty anemic on offense all year. Minshew didn't play the greatest, and it's just, you guys are still kind of bad. Next up, we've got the Jacksonville Jaguars, who I'm putting up here in division tier. I don't think they're quite Super Bowl contender yet, but they're getting pretty close. It was an ugly, ugly game against the Steelers, but able to pull off a win against a really good Steelers defense. They made the Steelers offense probably look like crap again, and so typical stuff for them. But Jacksonville, you could be a sleeper contender, so good for you, Jacksonville. Next up is the Kansas City Chiefs, who I'm moving behind the Ravens just because you lost to the Broncos, only scoring 9 points. Like, Mahomes had the flu. And weather was bad, but still, you guys looked terrible against Denver. You're still a Super Bowl contender. Unless you keep doing this multiple weeks in a row, I'm not dropping you down because you are that good of a team. And so, yeah, not much to say else about the Chiefs. The Chargers, going into bad tier. They picked up a win against a Bear team, but that's like not saying too much. You still got questions about their consistency, their ability to do anything in clutch time. But Justin Herbert's still a quarterback, and they could maybe go on a run, but we'll see about that. So you're up there in bad tier. Also in bad tier is the LA Rams. You guys got blown up by the Cowboys. You got curb stomped so hard by the Cowboys. Offense kept turning the ball over. You could not do anything to them. They didn't even need to do anything on offense to beat you because that defense just destroyed you. And Rams, you're bad. You're a bad football team and not really consistent. So you're going there. Next up, we got the Raiders, who is going to be the only 3-win team in tanking. It's just because you guys are that freaking bad. Like, what are you doing? Devontae Adams only getting 1 catch in the game? Josh McDaniels, how much of an idiot are you for doing that? Is absolutely inexcusable because they have talent on that offense. You got Devontae Adams, Jacoby Myers, Michael Mayer, Josh Jacobs, and Josh McDaniels chooses not to use them. What an absolute boob of a head coach. He should be fired after this year. I don't know why Mark Davis decided it was a good idea to hire him. We all know he's a snake. He's an idiot. Does not know what he's doing outside New England. And it's just, why are you giving him the chance? Why? But that's all I'm going to say about the Raiders. Next we got Miami. Yeah, they're Super Bowl contenders right now. They look like one of the best teams in football. Their offense is really, really, really good. They were able to beat the Patriots pretty handily. And so you guys keep rolling, keep being up bad teams. Keep doing what you're doing. That's all I got to say. Next up is Minnesota, who I am putting a wild card tier for this week. They're 4-4. They were starting to look really, really good. Coming off back-to-back wins against the 49ers and beating up on the Packers. But I think this is going to be like the last week you guys are up here because, sadly, Kirk Cousins tore his Achilles midway through the season. He is out for the remainder of the year. And that, honestly, is probably the death blow to your playoff chances because Kirk Cousins has actually played like a top 10 quarterback this year. I know we can say all the things about the Vikings offense now. Kirk is an average quarterback, but he doesn't fumble that ball when he throws it to receivers or runs the football. He's actually played really well, and this is a big, big, big blow to them. And so, Vikings, you might start seeing a tumble here, but it's not your fault at all. You guys were trending on the way up, but unfortunately, injury happened. Next up, we got the Patriots. They're bad. They're just a tanking football team right now. They lost the Dolphins by 2 touchdowns. Could have been worse, but you still don't have any confidence in his offense. And got wonder if Belichick's going to be let go at the end of the year because it's been that bad these past couple of years. But no one's feeling sorry for you. No one is at all. So stay down there. Saints are moving up to wild card tier after a pretty impressive offensive showing against the Colts. It's honestly just wondering like why can't you do that more often type thing. But good job, Saints. You're moving on up in the world. Honestly, are you leading the division? I'm actually going to put you in division tier, actually, because you are technically leading, I think, leading your division. Unless Atlanta, dude. I've already put Atlanta in the bag because I don't have faith in them. Let me check that real quick. NFL standings. Technically, Atlanta is still winning the division, but I put them in bad because they are bad. Saints, you're in division tier for me, just because I think you're the favorite right now. Tanking, New York Giants. You guys are bad. You're so bad. Anemic on offense. Now, Tyrod Taylor, poor guy, got hurt again. And so, these two teams, when they play on Monday Night Football, that's going to be an ugly game. And so, yeah, Giants, you're staying in tanking tier. Moving on up to wildcard tier, the New York Jets, quietly 4-3. That defense is keeping you guys in games. That is the only reason why you guys are here, and you're just praying and hoping Rodgers can recover in time for the last few weeks of the season and the playoffs. Because you're not winning anything with Zach Wilson as your quarterback. Let's just say that. And so, Jets, but really, really impressive with you guys. I think Robert Saleh is doing an excellent job as a head coach, rallying you guys around the injury, and then keeping you above 500 is really, really impressive. Next, we got the Philadelphia Eagles, number 1 team, 7-1, best record in the NFL. They did struggle a little bit against Commanders again, but the offense looked good. Defense needs some work, but I'm having you guys at number 1 in this week's power ranking. So good for you, good for you. Next, I got the Pittsburgh Steelers, who I'm putting in wild card just because they're 4-3. They're still in that mix of AFC teams right now with the other 3 AFC East teams. And so you guys, I don't think you're going to make it, though, because your offense is caca. Matt Canada deserves to be fired. But that defense, again, like the Browns, is championship quality. You just are wasting it with poor offensive choices. I don't understand that. But I'm not paying millions of dollars to make that decision. Now I got the Seattle Seahawks, who I am moving up to division tier. Because they're 5-2. There's still signs of struggle. The defense has been playing better, but Geno Smith has become very turnover prone recently, and that is not a good sign. I don't know how sustainable this is for you guys, but right now, 5-2, best team in the NFC West. Good for you guys. And that means San Francisco, who for like the first 4 weeks is my number one team, is dropping down to wild card. They have lost 3 in a row to the Browns, Vikings, and now the Bengals. And you guys looked really, really bad. And honestly, Brock Purdy should not have been playing in this game. He should not have been cleared from concussion protocol that quickly. It is embarrassing that he was out there. And it's just, I don't know what's going on with you. You're such a well-oiled machine these first 5 weeks, and now you look like one of the bottom 10 units in the NFL. Figure it out. Just figure it out. Next up is Tampa Bay, who is going down to bad. Not really much to say about that performance against the Bills. The guys' moxie is kind of starting to wear off a little bit, so not really too much to say about you. Next up, we got Tennessee, who in Will Levis's first start actually looked really, really solid as a team. Was really impressed. 4 touchdowns in your debut, nothing to shake at. Able to beat a slightly better Falcons team, so good for you. I still don't think you're that good of a team, but let's see what the kids got. Let's see what Mailman's got. Finally, the Commanders. Putting down a bad. They're not quite tanking yet, but they're getting very, very, very close. They're just right above like the Raiders and Patriots for me, just because they score points actually. When these two teams don't. Granted, their defense gives up a lot of points, but their offense has capability of being competent. So that is my tier list for this week. In Super Bowl tier, we got the Eagles, Dolphins, Ravens, and Chiefs. Division tier, I got the Lions, Jaguars, Seahawks, Cowboys, and Saints. Wild card, I have the Bills, Bengals, 49ers, Jets, Browns, Steelers, and Vikings. Bad teams, I got the Falcons, Colts, Buccaneers, Titans, Texans, Chargers, Broncos, Rams, and Commanders. And tanking, I have the Raiders, Patriots, Bears, Packers, Giants, Panthers, and Cardinals. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed the content, please remember to like and subscribe for more. I'll see you again very, very soon.